Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be discussing about the adapt phase in cloud adaptation framework. In the previous video, we discussed about the ready phase wherein we could have deployed the landing zone. By this time, you will be having your landing zone ready. In the adapt phase, we will be migrating the workloads on top of the landing zone that we have already deployed. Before you get start with, you have to decide which one you want to do first, whether you want to go with rehosting or a re-platform. Rehosting, it's basically a lift and shift. You will be just migrating your workloads from your on-prem to cloud. And the re-platforming, it's like making a little optimization into your application so that these applications or workloads will take the advantage of a cloud. Some corporations will go with rehost because it's pretty straightforward than a re-platform. Some organizations will try to have the virtual machines in cloud, or rather like they will try to migrate into a Kubernetes kind of or serverless kind of application. So it depends on your organization goals. So migrate. So basically, we will be migrating these applications, right? So there are quite a few steps involved. Prepare, basically like making sure that you have the landing zone ready and the tools and backlogs, like product backlogs are ready. Azure region, it's ready for your migration, roles and responsibilities, and the skills. So these are all the things that we discussed in our previous video. So by this time, you could have been prepared very well. So now we have to classify your workloads, evaluate the workload readiness, and or review the architecture of the workload. Why this is needed, we will come back in a moment. And deploy the application, remediate any issues, and do the testing and release it. So basically, like at a high level, you prepare your environment, do a workload assessment, and deploy the application, test, and release to the production. So in this particular phase, the accelerator team plays a crucial role. So what is accelerator team? So you need to have a landing zone deployment team who will be deploying your landing zone. Once the landing zone is deployed, you need the accelerator team. This team, it's a specialized team. They can migrate your on-prem workloads to cloud. Let's assume that you are migrating your on-prem workloads to Kubernetes, and then you need to have a team that has the capability, just not your application team, but a team that knows how do we migrate these applications into cloud, right? So that is where you need to have a accelerator team. So when you're choosing your partner, in the previous video, like we discussed about the Microsoft partners to deploy your landing zone. So most of the partners will also provide the migrate, they could have been specialized in migrate. So just talk to them, and they can help you with the application migration to cloud. Some does support only the AKS migration, like Kubernetes migration. Some supports virtual machines migration. Some support everything, right? So depends on your need. You have to identify a partner who can help you with that. So the steps are like basically you have to have a AKS. Sometimes it is part of a landing zone, sometimes it is not. Irrespective of what, you have to create your Kubernetes. So basically, like I'm assuming that you don't want to do a lift and shift, rather like you wanted to have a re-platform. So migrate all your workloads to Kubernetes, and to begin with, you need to have a AKS ready, like a Kubernetes cluster ready. Review the application architecture, making sure you understood not necessarily the application, but the application overall architecture that will give you the integration points. And basically, like you just need to understand the application functionality, and the overall integrations and all those things, so that you can decide how exactly you wanted to migrate. right? And the, like containerize the application, like convert the application. So some of these applications can be directly converted into Docker. Let's assume that you have .NET Core application that can directly convert it into a Docker and deploy it. But if it is a .NET application, then you have to, that also can be migrated to Docker, but I would suggest you to convert to .NET Core and deploy it. If it is Java, whatever is that, right? So Dockerize these applications and deploy. So you need to have a team who knows how to Dockerize these applications, and this team will should know how do we use the pipeline. So basically, like when we talk about the pipeline, refer back to my previous video wherein like I discuss about templates. So you have to create a kind of a common template that anybody can utilize. So you will be having kind of a template that each and every application will be using, just making sure that the parameters are properly passed, values for the parameters are passed and deployed, right? Deploy your application, monitor and test your application, making sure like there is no complaints issues, validate your performance, and document and hand over to the application support team. Basically, like in this particular stage, you will be rolling out your application to the production at a high. If you go into the one level down, so you have to create a cluster, making sure that all these networking, access management, cluster policies all are done. If it is not part of a landing zone, you have to do it in this particular phase. And assess your application inventory. Why this is needed, as we discussed, this will because like not necessarily the application team will be migrating the application, rather like there will be a separate team who it's known as the accelerator team. They will be migrating, so they need to understand your application at a high level. And containerize this application we discussed. So dockerize this application. So basically have a base image, and based on which you dockerize your applications, right? So what I'm saying is that like you have to follow the DevSecOps best practices when you're dockerizing your applications. Set up a CD pipeline. Again, like use the template to do it, and deploy your application into Kubernetes. And monitor your application. So some corporations will use the Azure monitoring facility. Otherwise, some organizations will be using like a site 24/7 or any other monitoring tools to monitor your application. Governance, again, like this can be Azure policies, using the Defender. Or some companies, or most of the companies, will be using PIM, PAM, Sentinel, and all those things. So again, like review your compliance and securities, right? And do the validation, application validation. So this can be done by the application team, or the accelerated team can have a kind of a testers, and they can do the initial testing before handing the application over to the application team for further validations. Once the application is up and run and it is tested, everything is okay, then plan for your launch. So by end of this the phase, you could have migrated your applications. That's what we have. We have in the adapt phase. That's all we have for this video. Thank you for watching.